May 28 is World Menstrual Hygiene Day, commemorated with the objective of combating what has been termed period poverty, a state of girls' inability to afford sanitary pads during their menses. Today we'll tell you the story of a girl who was defiled, impregnated and infected with HIV for want of a sanitary pad. There's more in this report.
I wanted to go out to eat, and then I realized all the boys were like, hey.
At age 12, Efia had to move in to live with her aunt in Techiman, where she was enrolled in a school. It was at the school she first had her menses, something she lacked knowledge about. She soiled her uniform, and boys in her class made fun of her. This was the beginning of her shattered life because she had no access to sanitary pad.
I used a toilet roll to cover that place, but because of the experience that happened, I didn't want to go out, so I didn't want anyone to laugh at me. So this guy, I was very young, so when I used the tissue paper, he saw me and then he was like, Adebia Kawechi. The tissue, I think the blood overflowed in the tissue, and then he made me wash.
Why didn't you go home? Why did you follow him to his house to go wash yourself?
I saw him as a father figure. So when I told him what is going on, he told me he'll give me 150 pesos to school, and then when I'm menstruating, he'll give me a pad.
But this was a bait. Efia agreed to the man's proposal to come out of the shame she had to endure any time she was in her menses. She was defiled and later got pregnant at age 14. During antenatal, she was tested HIV positive.
I was 5 months pregnant.
Wow.
So my mom asked me who. I told her it was the guy. When my mom called him, he told my mom he doesn't know me anyway.
He doesn't know you from anywhere?
He doesn't know me. That he's not the cause. So we went, whenever I go for antenatal, there was this time they told me to go for lab, and then I realized I was HIV positive. We did the test for 2 times, and it all came out positive. At that moment, I blame my mom. I told her it's her fault. Why did she get sick for me to go there and then something like this to happen to me? And then she was encouraging me that they said there is drugs there, that's not the end of the world, and then all that. But in my mind, I told myself I'm not going to take the drug. I'll just wait for death to come and take me.
Unfortunately, such cases of abuse and defilement are not reported for appropriate redress. Efia, now 19 years, could not further her education after completing junior high school. She believes she would not have fallen prey and suffered such ordeal if she could access sanitary pad at her tender age.
If anybody had supported you with sanitary pads, genuinely, without any strings attached, would you have had sex at that age of 12, 13?
No.
You're sure?
I wouldn't have had sex because even when my auntie wasn't giving me food, I had friends who support me with food. So if I had gotten the pad, I wouldn't even think of
sex.
Yes, because that was the only thing that I saw, say, yes, I should do it since it's saving me from disgrace and then all that. Why don't I do it?
In commemoration of this year's World Menstrual Day, Love FM in Kumasi will be donating boxes of reusable and disposable sanitary pads to schools in deprived communities in the Amansi Central District.
Well, in the last few hours, some CSOs are getting prepared to petition the president to remove taxes on pads so that it will be cheaper for everyone to be able to afford it. Let's share extracts of that statement that has been issued by the CSOs with you. And it says, on behalf of the Alliance of Feminist CSOs, AFSOs, we acknowledge the celebration of this year's Menstrual Hygiene Day. We call on girls to keep hope alive in the face of the numerous challenges being confronted with regard to menstruation. In the face of the harsh economic conditions coupled with heavy taxes on sanitary pads brings to the fore the question of affordability. So far, the January 2022 date, the sanitary pad has jumped from 5.5 cedis 50 pesos to 25 cedis. However, suppliers have attributed the increase in prices of sanitary pads to high taxes emanating from the government. Below are tax components on sanitary pads alone: 20% import duty, 0.5% ECOWAS levy, 15% network charges, 2.5% NHIL, IRS tax deposit, 0.75 exim levy, 2.5% network get fund, 15% import VAT, 0.4% processing fee, 2.5% network NHIL, 2% special import levy, 2.5% get fund import levy, 1.0% inspection fee, 1.0% COVID-19 health recovery levy, and 0.20% African Union import levy. As part of this year's observation, we call on the government to abolish all forms of taxes on sanitary pads. It has also been reported that high prices of sanitary pads could have dire consequences for millions of girls, further impacting their health and dignity, driving them to have transactional sex with older men and ultimately worsening gender inequality. As means towards making sanitary pads accessible, available, and affordable, we call on government to abolish all forms of taxes on sanitary pads. We also call on government to make available wash facilities at various public facilities, especially in schools, in order to ensure hygienic conditions during menstruations. And it's signed by Sheila Adams. She's the Secretary and Administrative Officer, and also Alimato Ishaku, Executive Director of the Alliance of Feminist CSOs. I've been joined right now via Zoom by founder of EcoMe and Rule Girls Ghana, Amdia Abdul-Latif. It's an NGO that help girls in rural areas to actually deal with some of these challenges in terms of their menstrual period and also ensuring that they ensure hygienic conditions. I'm grateful for your time, Amdia.
Thank you so much, Aisha.
Amdia, throughout your rounds in the rural areas, what have you found that is so disturbing, and the reason why these CSOs are calling for a reduction of taxes on sanitary pads?
Okay, so Aisha, this is a very sad reality we are facing in Ghana, and as a matter of fact, the whole of most places in Africa, across Africa. So sadly, women and girls lack access to sanitary pads, information, and even facility to manage their monthly menstruation, which does not only affect the quality of their education and health, but actually impacts the national economy at large. So vulnerable populations, especially poverty-stricken communities where I work, they are, because of the poverty and inequality.
All right, so
the issue is quite serious, and it is actually leading some of these young girls into very serious consequences, like what you mentioned, transactional sex, which is
All right, so this is Amdia Abdul-Latif. She is the founder of EcoMe and Rule Girls Ghana. It's an NGO that deals with girls in rural areas. We'll try and get her back to speak to this issue. But whilst we wait for her to do that, we can move on to other stories. Obuasi Municipal Education Directorate has been recording high absenteeism among girls during the period of menstruation. The number continues to surge due to the rise in cost of sanitary pads. Municipal Education Director George Alfred Kumsin says the challenge puts girls in a disadvantageous position, and Aljima has more.
In Ghana, sanitary pads are subject to 20% luxury tax and 12.5% in value-added tax. This has contributed to hike in prices of sanitary pads, making it inaccessible for girls from poor homes. For this reason, most female students in their menses are forced to absent themselves from school, negatively affecting their studies. George Alfred Kumsin is Obuasi Municipal Education Director.
It is not all the girls who have money to buy pads when they menstruate, and some of them resort to using unclean materials during their menstruation. And some girls, when they menstruate, because they don't have the pads, some of them take excuses to go home. Others feel shy and they are not able to say, so they sell themselves in school.
To deal with the challenge, the Rotary Club of Obuasi has established a pad bank. This is in partnership with other non-governmental organizations, including the Self-Love Foundation, Girls Shall Grow, and Gold City Mummies. A member of the Rotary Club, Delphine Boglovo, believes establishing a pad bank where philanthropists can regularly donate will ensure sustainable supply of sanitary pads.
When we do the one time off, some of the girls we give them, they don't really need it because their parents can't afford it. But we have girls who are really in need and cannot afford a sanitary pad. So the pad bank has been established and launched today. Now the girl child coordinators in the various schools in Obuasi and its surrounding will identify these needy students and then will come and withdraw pads from the pad bank periodically.
The executive director of Girls Shall Grow, Louisa Amwa, called on government to intervene in making sanitary pads accessible to girls, especially those from deprived communities. She said it is unacceptable to have girls skip school during menstruation.
We believe that the government can come in to support by taking taxes off the sanitary pads. At least once the taxes have been taken off, it's going to come at a lower cost for them to be able to afford.
For JoyNews, Nana Jima.